Have you ever felt like you're just not smart enough? Like everyone else got a secret instruction manual for life that you somehow missed? Or that maybe intelligence is something you're born with, like blue eyes or brown hair, and you just drew the short straw? Well, what if I told you that becoming smarter isn't about genetics or years of formal education? What if I told you it's a skill you can learn, a muscle you can build, faster than you ever thought possible? And what if the key to unlocking that potential is right at your fingertips, waiting to be discovered? Think about it. What if, by the end of our time together today, you could walk away with practical, actionable tools to boost your intelligence, impress others, and transform the way you see the world? Let's be honest with ourselves, we've all been there. You're in a conversation, and someone drops a fact or a name that flies right over your head. You nod along, pretending to understand, while inside you're scrambling, feeling that familiar pang of inadequacy. Or maybe you're the one who wants to share your knowledge, but you stumble over your words, coming across as unsure or, even worse, arrogant. It's frustrating, right? This feeling of being on the outside, looking in. This yearning to be knowledgeable, articulate, and respected. But it doesn't have to be this way. You see, intelligence isn't some exclusive club with a secret handshake. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed and honed with the right approach, regardless of your background, your education, or even your genes. Now, forget the stereotype of the stuffy academic, buried in dusty books for years on end. We're not talking about memorizing obscure facts or getting a fancy degree, though those things certainly have their place. We're talking about practical intelligence, the kind that allows you to navigate the complexities of life with confidence, to solve problems effectively, and to connect with others on a deeper level. And the good news is, you can start building that intelligence right now, today. In fact, by simply being here, listening to these words, you've already taken the first step. The first key to unlocking your intellectual potential is something you likely already enjoy: reading. Yes, reading. But we're not talking about just passively flipping through pages. We're talking about strategic reading, a targeted approach that maximizes your learning and retention. Think of it like this: fiction is your gateway to a richer vocabulary and improved reading comprehension. When you immerse yourself in a well-written novel, you're not just following a story. You're absorbing new words, sentence structures, and nuances of language. You're expanding your ability to express yourself clearly and effectively. Try picking up a classic novel or even a contemporary bestseller in a genre you enjoy. You can even listen to audiobooks during your commute or while you're working out. The important thing is to be consistent, but fiction is only half the equation. To gain specific, usable knowledge, you need to delve into non-fiction. Think of non-fiction as your toolbox for understanding the world. History, science, psychology, business, whatever sparks your interest, choose non-fiction books that address topics you want to learn more about. And here's a tip: don't be afraid to start with introductory texts. They're designed to provide a solid foundation, making it easier to grasp more complex concepts later on. To make it a habit, try starting with subjects that genuinely pique your curiosity. If you're fascinated by space, grab a book about astrophysics. If you're into cooking, explore a cookbook that delves into the science of flavor. And don't forget to create a comfortable reading environment. Good lighting, a cozy chair, maybe some calming background music. These small things can make a big difference. You can also set realistic goals. Start with, say, 15 minutes of reading per day, and then gradually increase the duration as you become more comfortable. And to keep yourself accountable, why not reward yourself after reaching a reading milestone? Maybe a special treat or an episode of your favorite show. Remember, the goal is to make reading an enjoyable and sustainable part of your life. The important thing is to find non-fiction books that genuinely excite you. Now here's where we separate the casual learners from the truly effective ones. We need to talk about textbooks. Yes, textbooks. I know they might bring back memories of dry lectures and endless highlighting, but trust me on this one. Textbooks are your secret weapon. Why? Because they're specifically designed for learning. They present information in a structured, logical way, often with summaries, exercises, and questions to reinforce your understanding. Think of a textbook as a personal tutor, guiding you step by step through a subject. They cut through the noise and give you the core information you need to know. And most importantly, they teach you how to apply that information. You can find textbooks on virtually any subject imaginable, from introductory levels to advanced topics. Don't be afraid to tackle a subject that seems intimidating at first. Remember, you're not aiming for perfection, you're aiming for progress. But simply reading isn't enough. Your brain is like a muscle, and just like any muscle, it needs to be exercised to grow stronger. This is where active practice comes in. Active practice is all about engaging with the material, testing yourself and applying what you've learned. Let's say you're reading about history. Don't just passively absorb dates and names. Stop and ask yourself questions. Why did this event happen? What were the consequences? How does it relate to other events? You can even create flashcards or use online quizzes to test your knowledge. And here's a powerful technique: mental simulation. Imagine yourself in different scenarios related to what you're learning. If you're studying negotiation, for example, picture yourself in a negotiation, applying the principles you've read about. This mental rehearsal helps solidify the information in your mind, making it easier to recall and apply in real-life situations. One incredibly effective method for structuring your study time is the Pomodoro Technique. This involves working in focused 25-minute bursts, followed by short 5-minute breaks. During those 25 minutes, you eliminate all distractions, turn off your phone, close unnecessary tabs on your computer, and fully immerse yourself in the material. After each 25-minute Pomodoro, take a 5-minute break to stretch, walk around, or simply close your eyes and relax. After completing 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break of 15 to 20 minutes. This structured approach helps maintain focus and prevents burnout, making your study sessions more productive. This technique helps you maintain focus and prevents burnout. Now here is a powerful tool for long-term memory: spaced repetition. Our brains are wired to forget things over time, but spaced repetition combats this by strategically reviewing information at increasing intervals. This means revisiting what you've learned shortly after the first encounter, then again a bit later, and then again after a longer period. This reinforces the neural pathways associated with that memory, making it stronger and more durable. A great way to implement this is by reviewing your notes or flashcards first thing in the morning, right after you wake up, and again right before you go to sleep. These are the times when your brain is most receptive to consolidating memories. You're essentially hacking your brain's natural learning process, making your study efforts far more efficient. You're essentially telling your brain, hey, this information is important, remember it, and your brain will listen. But why is all this important? Why go through all this effort? Because your brain thrives on relevance. It's constantly filtering information, deciding what to keep and what to discard. When you actively engage with what you're learning, when you make it relevant to your life, you're signaling to your brain that this information is important, that it's worth holding on to. A simple yet effective way to do this is to create imaginary scenarios. Let's say you're learning about economics. Imagine how those economic principles might play out in your own life or in current events. The more you connect the information to something meaningful, the more likely you are to remember it. So you're reading strategically, you're practicing actively, you're using the Pomodoro technique and spaced repetition. You are well on your way to becoming a learning machine. But let's not forget a crucial piece of the puzzle: communication. Knowing something is great, but being able to share that knowledge effectively, that's where the magic happens. Imagine being able to articulate your thoughts clearly and confidently, to engage in stimulating conversations, to impress others with your insights, all without sounding arrogant or condescending. That's the power of intelligent communication. The key here is humility. Remember, you're not trying to show off, you're trying to connect. Share what you've learned in a way that's accessible and engaging. Listen actively to others, ask questions, and be open to different perspectives. True intelligence is not about proving how much you know. It's about using your knowledge to build bridges, to foster understanding, and to learn from one another. Now, let's talk about resources. We live in an incredible time, a time of unprecedented access to information. You have a wealth of knowledge at your fingertips. Take advantage of it. Use online resources like Khan Academy, Coursera, or edX. Explore reputable websites, and use your library card to access a vast collection of books and other materials. And don't underestimate the power of human connection. Talk to people who are knowledgeable in areas that interest you. Ask them questions, listen to their experiences, and learn from their insights. Remember, learning is a lifelong journey, and there are countless resources available to support you along the way. You might even consider forming a study group with friends or colleagues who share your interests. This can provide a supportive and motivating environment for learning and growth. You can quiz each other, discuss challenging concepts, and hold each other accountable. We also need to address those pesky limiting beliefs. You know, those little voices in your head that whisper, "You're not smart enough," or "You'll never be able to learn that." Those voices are liars. They are simply your fears and insecurities masquerading as truth. Everyone, and I mean everyone, has the potential to learn and grow. Don't let anyone, including yourself, tell you otherwise. Your past experiences, your grades in school, your perceived limitations, they don't define your intelligence. What defines your intelligence is your willingness to learn, your commitment to growth, and your belief in yourself. To make your study sessions even more enjoyable, try to intersperse your textbook reading with other forms of learning that you enjoy. For example, if you're studying history, you could watch a documentary on the same period or visit a museum. This helps to keep things fresh and prevents boredom. Also, don't be afraid to use technology to your advantage. There are countless apps available for reading, note-taking, and flashcard creation. Take advantage of those dead times throughout your day, like waiting in line or commuting, to sneak in some extra reading or studying. Even just 15 minutes here and there can really add up over time. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Some people might say, "But I wasn't born smart. It's in my genes." That's simply not true. While genetics might play a small role in certain cognitive abilities, the overwhelming scientific consensus is that intelligence is malleable. It's something you can cultivate and improve throughout your life. Think of your brain like a garden. You weren't just born with a fully bloomed garden, were you? No, you have to plant the seeds, water them, nurture them, and over time they will flourish. It's the same with your intelligence. Every time you learn something new, every time you challenge yourself, every time you push beyond your comfort zones, you're strengthening neural connections. You're building new pathways in your brain. You're literally making yourself smarter. Think about the power you hold within you, the power to transform your mind, to expand your understanding of the world, and to achieve things you never thought possible. It's not about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, unlocking the potential that's already there, waiting to be unleashed. This journey of becoming smarter, it's not just about accumulating knowledge, it's about personal growth. It's about becoming a more confident, more articulate, more engaged individual. It's about enriching your life and the lives of those around you. You are capable of amazing things, more than you probably realize. You just need to take that first step, and then the next and the next. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing your boundaries. What if you could approach any situation with confidence, knowing that you have the intellectual tools to handle it? What if you could engage in any conversation with ease, contributing meaningfully and impressing others with your insights? And what if you could use your newfound intelligence to achieve your goals, to make a difference in the world, to live a more fulfilling life? All of this is within your reach. The journey to a smarter you starts now. Embrace the challenge, embrace the process, and embrace the incredible potential that lies within you. You might just surprise yourself with what you can achieve. The mind truly is a universe waiting to be explored. And the journey begins with a single step, a single book, a single question. What will you learn today?